What's going on YouTube? I just figured I'd do the 1-year update on the 2018 Honda Goldwing. I've had it for a little over a year now, about 9,200 miles on it roughly. I'll just give you my overall thoughts. One of the things I like the most about this bike is the styling. I mean, it just looks a lot better than the old bike. It's more my style. It's slimmed down. It's got definitely a more modern feel to it. The other thing too is the suspension. Compared to my 2007 Goldwing that I used to have, much better. The front suspension on this bike doesn't even compare to the old one. A lot of you guys know that you'll roll the old one, the thing bottomed out really easy. This doesn't do that, unless you have some major potholes, but you have a car, it's gonna do that too. But really impressed. The new engine, design with the 6-speed, I have a 6-speed manual because I like to be engaged with the bike. I rode the DCT and it was great. There are times I'm in traffic and I wish I really had it. But for the most part, we've given up so much of our lives to automation, and I just wanted something to make me feel like I'm still a little bit in control of my own life. The other things I really love about it is the dash. The dash is really nice. The buttons are easy to get to, a little bit more user friendly. One of the other key components I love about this bike is, of course, the electric windshield. That makes a big difference. I live in South Florida. I live practically on the sun. So one of the other things this bike did by slimming down gives me more air, which would be a drawback if I lived someplace cooler. But since I live someplace warmer, it makes a good deal of sense for me. The seat doesn't bother me too much. I did put the Utopia backrest on it, so that makes a huge difference. And I did end up switching to the Rivco highway pegs. I did have my ones on here. If you want to check those out, it's in a different video. I actually made my own for here, down on the crash bars. The one thing they could have done, Honda could have done to differentiate the Tour model versus the Goldwing standard, is they did have a comfort seat for this bike. They should have put the comfort seat from the factory on the Goldwing Tour. That would be one of my biggest gripes, is you should have put that seat on. It's a better seat from what I understand. But after about 9,000 miles, the seat actually fits me pretty good. If all else fails, I do have a air hawk that I throw on it, or one of those cheap Walmart gel pads works great too. Of course, when we get back here, one of the big drawbacks is the size of the trunk and the side bags. They are a lot smaller than the old bike. I did a week-long trip, did about 5,000 miles. Found that I had actually plenty of room for one up riding. If I was two up, it would have been way too tight, wouldn't have worked. But I've learned how to pack over the years for motorcycle trips and just general vacations anyway. And I can pretty much pack everything I want and get it in one side bag. Because my biggest concerns in life are underwear and socks. I can wear the same pants, I can wear the same shirt. I'm on a motorcycle on a trip, I really don't care. So that has its drawbacks, but I expect that Honda, probably like they did with all the bikes, you'll see variations of this thing come out soon. You're probably gonna see a bigger trunk, and I give it like 4 or 5 years. They gotta recoup some cost on this one. But you'll probably see a bigger trunk, come onto it. Some of the other drawbacks I find on this, probably, my biggest thing is just the lack of room. My wife does not like this bike at all. The two-up comfort is definitely lower than it was on the older bike. I mean, that's just, there's no way around that. It's just true. My wife doesn't like the back seat as much. She doesn't like because she can't hear the radio because of where the speakers are. They used to be up here, now they're down here. So it kind of muffles the sound for her. So she doesn't quite like that. Even though we have headsets and everything, it's just not quite the same for her. So she doesn't really like riding this bike as much as she liked riding the old one. But she doesn't do a lot of riding with me anymore anyway, so it's kind of like a 50-50 thing. When she goes out on the short rides, it's not a big deal, but if we were to go on a long vacation, like a week, it would be hard, real hard. Because the size, the comfort of this is, for her, is just not the same. For me, it's fine. I love having the heated grips, heated seats. One thing I think people don't talk about enough though are the new brakes. The new brakes on this bike are far better than the older generation. This thing stops great. I've had to do some emergency braking. The ABS has kicked in, it works fantastic. But just general overall bite of the new braking system is way better than the old bike. You can't get around it. I love the front visibility. The 6-speed transmission's been also a nice thing, because my buddy, that I ride with a lot, you've probably seen the old 05 he rides, is in a bunch of videos, so we ride a lot together. We did our last trip over the summer. We'd stop for gas, same spot every time, fill up, because a lot of people were complaining they took a gallon of gas out of this bike, and it's like, oh, it's not gonna go as far. It goes as far as the old bike, without a problem. He consistently put in 1 gallon of gas more than I did every single stop. I mean, it was consistent to a T. I would put in 4, he put in 5. It was amazing how the fuel mileage, Honda worked that out. It gets better mileage than the old bike. So it gives you that range that you're used to on the old bike. So it's really a non-contender. But overall, would I buy the bike again? Yes, I like it that much. I mean, that's really what it comes down to for anybody. If you're actually looking at the new Goldwing, would somebody who owns it now and who's owned a previous generation of this bike own this one again? Yes, I would. Without a doubt. The bike is great. It's lighter, it's quicker. It's got the gimmicky things, the sport mode and all that. It kind of, you feel a little different now. I have used the rain mode in the pouring rain, and that does kind of give you some sense of safety, maybe, because when you crack the throttle if you have to, it doesn't quite give you that torque that this bike's used to. And I have actually had on this one it has the traction control system, so that's kicked in a few times on me going around a corner, and I don't know if it's saved by bacon, but when you're in heavy rain and you still got to go, it worked out pretty good. The new sound of the bike is good. It's kind of a drone more than the old bike, but I kind of like it. It's a little bit more noisy. You can hear it better. It's it's a motorcycle. You want to hear some noise, right? Some people say it kind of drones in the helmet. I mean, I wear a full face RF 1200, so I don't really hear too much of it. Wind protection is great. Not as much as the old one, don't get me wrong, but I refuse to put those air deflector thingies under the mirror, because those are just freaking ugly. I'm sorry, but I like having some stylish stuff. I had the Tulsas on my old bike, but it was the curved piece of plastic, and it kind of fit the bike, the flow of the bike. Those Honda ones with just that big thing hanging down, it's just ugly. Why would you want to do that to a brand new bike? Make it just look uglier. So I'm going to forego that. I might buy the deflectors here for those colder trips when I do in the fall. Really, it's been a great bike. If you have any comments or you have any questions about it, I don't get paid for this, so I don't get paid to put things on the bike. I don't make instructional videos, so I do make. If you want any questions, comments about any other thoughts about this bike, let me know. I've had it for a while and it's going good for me. If you have some concerns that maybe you're thinking about buying one, it's like, hey, just comments. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, make a comment below. If you have any questions that I might be able to answer for you. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's not like I get paid to do this. I'm not like the guy from motorcycle.com. Well, this motorcycle is just doing this and I don't like it. Everybody has different tastes in bike. That's why I have a BMW sitting over there. It might be for sale soon, guys. It's a 2007 R1200R, low miles, very well maintained. Just saying. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If this was helpful or not. I mean, it doesn't sound very helpful. Am I helpful or am I not helpful? It's like Shakespeare. Who's that?